Hello, Canisius. My name is Parker Hajiaskari. I'm a senior in Canisius's class of 2015. Today I will be interviewing Father Costantino, the 34th president of Canisius High School. His installation marks the return of Jesuit presidency to the school. Um, Thank you for joining me here today.
My pleasure.
Okay, to start it off, I understand before you came to Canisius you were a pastor at St. Francis Xavier Parish. What is the process for you as a Jesuit for receiving your assignments and duties?
Well, it's interesting because the provincial usually has a conversation with you, and the provincial decides ultimately where you're going to be assigned. So sometimes they have things that they want you to consider. So consider coming to Buffalo or consider moving on. A lot of times people want to stay where they are because people are often happy where they are. But if you remember Father Bob Pecoraro, he was asked by the provincial to consider going to the Caroline Marshall Islands to be president of a school there. Yeah. And so he went. After prayer and thought, he told the provincial, yes, I'll be willing to go. Now, you can't really say no unless it really is something that might harm you because of your health or your mental well-being. Most of the time, people do say yes because being a Jesuit is being available for mission, to go wherever you're sent. That's the principle of being a Jesuit.
Now, was this like also what happened at Canisius College when you were a professor of philosophy?
Right. There, it was very interesting because I was young in the society, so they just said, you're going to go to Buffalo to work at Canisius College as a teacher of philosophy.
All right. So while you were at St. Francis Xavier, you oversaw a $13.5 million operation. What exactly were your responsibilities with this task?
Oh, well, that was for a renovation and restoration of the church. The church, when I got there, was it was falling down, basically. Yeah. Plaster would fall from the ceiling, and we were worried about all sorts of accidents. It was an unsafe environment. Nothing had been done to restore or refurbish the parish in, I would say 60 years or more. In fact, there was a Jesuit who said when he was a student there, and he was now in his 80s, when he was a student at Xavier High School, the Jesuits were talking about how the church needed to be refurbished, and he said he was happy to be able to live to see it redone. The responsibility to that was not only raising the money for the project, but also overseeing the architects and the contract managers, and making sure that the quality of the work was outstanding.
Now, would you say this was very stressful to do? Or?
What was stressful was the first time going up the scaffold, because it was a 7-story church. And so the scaffold was way opened, and you had to walk up. And that was the first time I would say it would be pretty stressful. And the architect had to teach me how to climb a scaffold so that you could do it with ease and not be so nervous. Even when you come down, you're looking down at this open space. I think it's similar to the students who went to see the silos, and they were talking about how it's outside my office is the silos, pictures of them going to see that.
So, staying on the topic of St. Francis Xavier, can you, just share some experiences as a pastor there?
Oh, that's a good question. There's so many experiences because, as a pastor, you're preaching every week to the congregation and offering Mass for them, praying when people are sick to visit them, offering often the funeral Mass for parishioners who have been there for a long time. One of the interesting things about St. Francis Xavier is the diversity of the population. People came from all over the city, even from New Jersey and Long Island, as far as Connecticut and Pennsylvania, to be there on Sunday to worship. So you always had to be very prepared to speak with them. It was so diverse that we even had for the physically challenged, we'd do a special mass, and they would bring up the gifts and be lectors and participate in that mass all together. A number of the physically challenged, though, would be part of the mass just on a regular basis. So that would give you a sense of the diversity of that particular parish.
So when transitioning from St. Francis Xavier to Canisius, what challenges did you face?
Coming to Buffalo?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Well, the winter.
yeah, of course. I mean, like, what in like responsibilities and duties, like, well, you were a pastor at St. Francis Xavier, and you come to be president. Like, what was significant about the change?
There were some things the same and some things different. At St. Francis Xavier, of course, you're responsible for finances. Similarly here, working with accountants, our CFO, Mr. Shelkoff, to handle and oversee the finances. Advancement with Mr. Harris, certainly raising money. That was new. That was the same. What was different is at the parish, there wasn't a principal, and there wasn't a whole bunch of faculty members. Of course, we did have a DRE, a Director of Religious Education, so we did have classes in that. But it is different than have an entire school with so many faculty members and staff. The staff at the parish, of course, is smaller than a staff at the high school. Plus, didn't have students around you every day. And it's been great to have students pop into my office or to walk down the hallway and see different people. And people, more often than not, say hello and look at you. But sometimes people are distracted. They're in their own world, and you say hello. But those are some of the differences and similarities.
So for Canisius College, and I know that you were a philosophy professor, and I read somewhere that you were a member of the Board of Trustees. Are you still a member of the board?
The term at Canisius College, similar to here, for our Board of Trustees at the high school is 6 years. And then you always have to go off the board for a year.
Okay.
And so my 6 years were up last year. This year I'm a non-trustee member, as we do have here too at the high school, are people who come who have been trustees or who bring a certain expertise to the board. So I'm not a voting member of the board this year, but still actively participate in the Committee for Mission and Identity, for instance, and contribute that way to the board.
I mean, you might not want to answer this because it might sound kind of like biased, but which do you ultimately prefer, being a professor at Canisius College or president of Canisius High School?
Oh, I have to tell you, I was asked last year by Business First what was my favorite subject.
Yeah.
And you know what my answer was?
Philosophy.
I had the most unique answer of all.
Really?
I said, all of them. That's why I studied philosophy, because it takes in every single subject. Similarly, when you ask me a question like that, which assignment have I liked the best? All of them.
Yeah.
And I will continue to like assignments into the future, because that's what's the exciting thing about people who have the charism and vocation to be a Jesuit. Remember I said it's about being sent. So you want to be sent, to go forth. And so you're always looking for the next assignment, to do the next thing, where you can be available and where you can make an impact. So it's always an exciting, it's like Jesus went around from town to town.
Yeah, it's true. So, staying on the topic of presidency, what does your daily routine look like here at CHS?
Every day is different. what I know will happen every week is that I'll meet with the people who directly report to me, and that's right now Mrs. Turpek as the acting principal, Mr. Harris in advancement, and Mr. Shelkoff in finance. So every week I have to meet with them individually to find out what they're doing, and then we meet as a team so that we can talk about leadership in the school and what is happening, so that we're not working at cross purposes. And each one helps the other, and then that spills out into all the others, because each of them have a team. But every day is different. Who knows, some days I'll just be signing letters. That gets boring after a while, I have to tell you. Signing your name over and over again, or signing checks over and over again. But other things are very interesting. Like I enjoy very, very much when we have the grad at grads, and I get an opportunity to hear them.
Yeah, or something like this.
Yeah, very good.
Right. So, next question. Is just, do you have any significant plans that you can, for Canisius that you can share with us?
Those significant plans, I mean, we have plans moving forward in the sense that you always want to look for what's next, what's the next opportunity. Like this space came up as a result of a conversation in order to have this digital media arts program. So similarly, working with benefactors now to enhance some of the technology at the school and to provide more opportunities for our students vis-a-vis technology. But also, ongoing, one of the greatest plans of all is to increase the endowment. Do you know what an endowment is?
No, not really.
Okay, well, endowment is money given for scholarships and financial aid for students. And so you want to allow for a greater opportunity for more people to come here who might not be able to, who are qualified, but because of their financial family situation, can't afford to come here. So the endowment and the different ways in which benefactors help us then allows for that to happen, so people can come on scholarships and with financial aid. So that is something that is very much on my mind in order to meet benefactors, to have that happen. Yeah. Also, if people leave us in their will, that's very helpful too.
Yeah, I see. All right, well, I mean, I just have, are there any final words or, final messages you would like to leave with all the students, faculty, parents, and alumni watching this?
Oh, well, I'd like to leave with the idea that this is a phenomenal, outstanding school. And the opportunities here for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade is astounding. When you look at all of our Jesuit schools, they're all outstanding. Here at Canisius, though, I think we have one of the best campus ministry programs, with our retreat programs, our immersion trips, our service projects. The way that's all organized is amazing. Also, we happen to have a faculty and staff that really keep us on our toes, keep the students on their toes, and they demand excellence, and I think that it really leads to our graduates being able to get accepted into the school that's the right fit for them. And I think our guidance office, for instance, does an outstanding job of helping people along their 4 years so that they know what is the best fit. And then, of course, we have one of the best grad programs in the entire Jesuit network, I think, because of the way we do it and the emphasis we place on that. So that's what I would leave with, is that this school is excellent, and I think it will continue to get better and better with each passing year.
All right. Those are all the questions I have for you, and thanks for giving me your time.
Oh, thank you. Thanks,
Nice interview.
Good.
I'm Parker Hajiaskari, and this concludes this segment of Crusader Alumni Series.